Dear students, now we are going to start the free cash flow model. ये इक्विटी वैल्यूएशन का आपका 9th क्लास, बट फ्री कैश फ्लो मॉडल का ये 2nd क्लास. And free cash flow model, it considers its concept. We have also discussed earlier. It has considered its concept from the Gordon model. So first let us see the Gordon model and the free cash flow model. This is free cash flow to equity shareholder. Based on this free cash flow, this is the cash flow of future cash flow of the firm, and we have to find out the present value of future cash flow to the firm. So the value of the firm will be your first year if there is a growth rate, then 1 plus K. Second year, one plus K square, and it will continue for certain years. Then there will be your perpetual growth. And in case of perpetual growth, we shall take the capitalized value of your free cash flow. Then capitalized value of free cash flow. This is also divided by 1 plus K to the power m. So where the free cash flow is the cash flow to equity in the last year. And this is the first year, second year, third year, it will continue. And here there are two types, many types of model may be coming, that is only one growth. There may be two set of growth. For some time it will continue for 10% as for example. उसका बाद फिर आपका 6% for some period. That is two-stage growth. Sometimes we come with three-stage growth. 10% for 4 years, 8% for next 2 years, and then 4% perpetual growth. So this is your multiple growth of 3 stage. So in the Gordon model also we have already studied the multi-stage model of growth. Here also it can be a multi-stage model, but the value of the firm is the present value of future cash flow. present value of future cash flow plus the present value of terminal cash flow. मैं उसको लिख सकते हैं आपका टर्मिनल कैश फ्लो. दिस इज टर्मिनल cash flow. So this terminal cash flow, we have to take the present value of terminal cash flow so that we can find out the value of the R. And the formula we can apply, generally we apply the formula that is VC equal to FCFE divided by KE minus G. FCFE, this is no growth. This is no growth model. And the free cash flow to equity shareholder, it remain constant. It does not change. Okay. There is another method with growth, that is FCFE 1 plus G divided by KE minus G. In this way we can find out the capitalized value of terminal cash flow. And capitalized value of terminal cash flow is again discounted to make it the present value. So in any case we can see the free cash flow model, we generally use the another version or a very close similarity with the Gordon model. Just let me write here the Gordon model for the comparison. Gordon model में यही था आपका P equal to D1 KE minus G, where D1 is equal to D0 1 plus G KE minus G. So this was the price as per Gordon model. So there is a similar situation between this Gordon model as well as your FC free cash flow model. In the last class of free cash flow model, we have studied what are the concepts, the background, the example we have done. In this class, we are going to do some problems which have come, similar problems come in your exam of CA final. I am putting the question before you so that you can see the question, and it is question, so that you can see the question and you can refer the question while doing the problem. And those who are online, they have already got the math, they don't have a problem, but those who are seeing this, you can also take the question and or refer the question so that it will be easier to understand. P Limited is a medium-sized capital intensive and listed company. In the year that ended recently, the free cash flow of company were as under. Net operating profit after tax, depreciation, and total depreciation is a non-cash expenditure, therefore we are adding that. Then capital expenditure and increase in working capital is 1,80,000. Then free cash flow 306 lakh minus 180 lakh, it comes to 126 lakh. Market price for one share is 23. Number of such share is 45 lakh. Q Limited is interested to acquire P Limited at a premium of 40%. So whatever market price of P Limited, Q Limited agree to pay 40% over the market price. Now the question is, Q Limited believe that with synergy in business can grow by 25% for first 4 years, 10% thereafter. The annual increase in capital expenditure is 55 lakh. From 7th year onward, perpetuity cash flow is expected to grow 4% or not at all. Cost of capital 18%. So this is a 3-stage growth model. For 4 years, that is a 25% growth. For next 2 years, there is a 10% growth, and for the remaining year, it will be either 4% or a zero growth. So we have got two alternatives after 7 years. After 6 years, we have two alternatives, that is either 4% growth or it is a zero growth. And cost of capital is 18%. Considering all these factors, Q Limited is required to find out whether they will purchase P Limited or not. And the decision is very important because there is a price, there is a purchase consideration P Limited from P Limited side. Whether Q Limited will agree to pay that purchase consideration, that thing we shall look out here. Please go through the question. We are going to solve the problem, right? The problem will consist of 4 steps, and out of the 4 steps we are going to do the step 1. Step 1 we shall find out the market price. We know the market price of the share $23 at present, and premium offered to the market price current market price 40%. So 23 into 40%, it will come to 9 rupees 20 paisa. So total come to 32.20. This is called your bid price. This is the price determining present purchase consideration, 32.20 per share. Based on this, how the number of shares 45 lakhs. So the number of shares is 45 lakhs. Hence, the total value, purchase consideration or value of the business as per present bid price, that is purchase consideration. I can write purchase consideration 45 lakh shares multiplied by this, it will come 1449 lakhs. So this is the purchase consideration from P and Q. They agreed to that purchase consideration, but before final making a deal, Q Limited wants whether it should proceed with the proposal or they should not proceed with the proposal. Now comes the thing, whether the business, the P Limited business, what will be the intrinsic value of the business considering all such factors of growth and capitalized value of terminal cash flow. And that intrinsic value is more than purchase consideration, we should purchase the business. If the intrinsic value is less than the purchase consideration determined here, then there is no, that the company should not, Q Limited should not purchase the business of P Limited. So we shall all discuss in the second step. Let us calculate the free cash flow. We know the free cash flow is equal to your net operating profit after tax plus depreciation and all other things are coming. If the capital expenditure is more, there is an outflow, then we have to make a less, like this. And in this problem we have not considered, there is no consideration for dividend. So step 2. Calculation of free cash flow for 6 years. Before actually starting with this, I am just giving a concept. This is 0 year. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6. And after that it is infinite. So for first 4 years, there is a 25% growth as per question. Then for next 2 years, that is a 10% growth. Then after 6 years, that is from the 7th year onwards, there are 2 cases. From the, this is end of 6th year, and from 7th year onwards, there are 2 cases. Either there is a 4% growth or there is a nil growth. Growth is nil. Either growth is 4% or the growth is nil. There are 2 cases will be coming. So in this step we shall find out the cash flow for all 6 years. then we will go for calculating the present value of such cash flow. So this is the reason why we are calculating the free cash flow for 6 years. That is our year. Depreciation added, then comes the capital expenditure, then comes the free cash flow. Free cash flow to equity shareholder. Let us write, this is 0 year, 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6th year. And in the 0 year, as per the question, we can know with adding depreciation, the net profit after tax plus depreciation. Let me write all the figures in lakhs. So 306 lakh. And capital expenditure, it is given in your question, that is 180, and it comes to 126. This is in the 0 year. Then after 0 year, there is a 25% growth. So this net profit plus depreciation, that is a cash, that is a profit plus non-cash expenditure, it will grow by 25%. So 306 plus 1.25, this is 25%. It will come to 382. Again 382, here also there is a 25% growth. So 1 plus 0.25. Here also this will again be 478. Then again 478 in plus, this is again 25%. This will be 598. Again 25%, 598. 1 plus 0.25. This will again be 748. Then there is a 10% growth after these 4 years. In these 4 years, there is a 25% growth, and after that the growth is only 10%. So it will be 10%, and 748, 1 plus 0.10, and it will come to your 823. Then again 1 plus 0.10, it will come to 823, 1 plus 0.10. So friends, it will come to 905. 905. So these are the cash flow for 6 years. Actually, future cash flow means we shall take all these 6 years cash flow. Then capital expenditure will grow at a rate of 55 lakh. So let us add 55 here. It comes to 235. Again 235 plus 55, it comes to 290. So every year there is a increase by 55 lakh. In the similar 345 will be here. This will be 400. This will be 455 and this will be 510. So this will be your 510 is the capital expenditure plus working capital increase. This is also working capital increase. So since the capital expenditure and working capital is a outflow, therefore we shall make this minus this will give us the free cash flow. So the free cash flow is 147. This minus this. Make a minus here. And 478 minus 290, it comes to 188. Then 598 minus 345, this will be equal to 253. 748 minus 400, it comes to 348. 823 minus 450, 823 minus 455, it will come to 368. And 905 minus 510, it comes to your 395. So these are the free cash flow for the equity shareholder for these 6 years. Now in the third step we shall calculate two things. First, discounted cash flow for present value. Again, discounted terminal value of cash flow. That is capitalized value of discounted cash flow, capitalized value of the cash flow, terminal cash flow, and we have to discounted it to find its present value. So we shall come to the third step like this. So I think you note it down. If you have got any doubt, please ask me. Amit, you can ask the question. Swapnil, you can, if you have got the doubt, you can come out, and all others also same. Step 3. Determination of present value of and capitalized value terminal cash flow. Capitalized value of terminal cash flow. So let us see, this is 0 year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and this is 6. Then comes, so in the first year the cash flow is converted to its present value by the multiplication of cash flow plus 1.18 or 1.ke to the power 1. In the second year, the cash flow is again converted to present value. Again the same thing, 1 plus ke square. The third year it will again be converted to present value. The fourth year cash flow is again converted to fifth year also same. So this is the present value of cash flow. After 6 years, we have to again find out the present value of capitalized terminal cash flow. So in this way we have to do the problem. So first year cash flow will be discounted, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year and sixth year. After sixth year there is a perpetual either growth or a constant, no growth. So in any case we have to find out the present value of capitalized terminal cash flow. So let us do this. We can also write what is the cash flow. We can write the cash flow here. We can write, similarly we can write all these things and find out. But we shall prepare it to do in a tabular form, because in the exam it will be, if there is more number of years are there, we have to follow the table. But this is the concept. Let us calculate this in the second, in the third case we shall find out There are two alternatives: terminal growth, determination of cash flow, terminal cash flow, terminal cash flow. Friends, here there are two options after 6th year. From the start of 7th year, there are two options are here. One is 4% growth, another would be growth is nil. So G equal to 4%, here G is equal to 0. So certainly the capitalized value of terminal cash flow will be different in both the cases. So we have got two alternative proposal, that is 4% and nil growth. This is particulars, this is alternative 1, alternative 2, and this particular cash flow, that is called terminal cash flow, that is cash flow for equity shareholder on 6th year and 395. We have already find it out in the second step. Then the growth we shall consider. This is say growth, no growth. So here we consider growth 4%, here we consider nil, no growth. Then we have been given in the question, that is cost of equity, 18%. So KE minus G, it is 18 minus 4 equal to 14%. This is 18 minus nil equal to 18%. So capitalized value of, we know this formula, that is FCFE 1 plus growth, then KE minus G. So in this case it will be 395 plus 1 plus growth is 1.04 and KE minus G 0.14. Here it is 395, there is no growth, and 0.18. So if we calculate this, this will be 2934 lakhs, and this will be 2194 lakhs. All are in lakhs. So this is there are two options are there. Either there will be a 4% growth or there will be a nil growth, that we consider here. This is our step 3. Then we shall come to the present value of all the cash flow. We now have second step, we find out the present value of 6 years, we find out the cash flow for 6 years. In the third step, we find out the terminal capitalized value of the terminal cash flow. Then in the fourth step, we shall find out the present value of total cash flow that will give us our intrinsic value of the business. So this is step 4. Let us come to step 4. This is present value of cash flows. Present value of cash flows. This is year. Year will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we shall come to the cash flow. We have already determined the cash flow. Then we are coming to discount factor at a rate of 18%. Then we shall come out with the present value of FCFE that we can find out. So the cash flow for the 6 years, this is end of first year, then comes 188, then 253, then comes the 348. Please see your notebook. 368 and 395. This already we have found out. And we shall also found out the terminal cash flow here. The terminal cash flow we shall find out the terminal cash flow. This is PV of present value of alternative 1, and again we shall go to PV of alternative 2, because there are two alternative, one is growth, another one is no growth. So let us terminal cash flow is 212934, and this 2934 is for your the proposal 1, that is alternative 1, and for the this is for 1, and for the alternative 2 the terminal cash flow is 2194. This we have found out in step 3. All this cash flow we have found out in step 2. So now we shall find out the discount factor. 1 division 1.18. आप कैलकुलेटर से कर सकते हैं. This is 0.8474. .7182. 0.6086, 0.5158, 0.4371, 0.3704. Here also 0.3704. Here also 0.3704. Then we shall come to alternative 1 and alternative 2. How much is the cash flow? So 147 into 0.8474. It comes to your 125, right? Or we can write 124.57. Next one, 188 into 0.7182. 135. Then comes 153.98. 179.50. This is fourth year. 160.88. This is your 85. 85. Then 395. This comes to 146.31. 146.31. Then 29 terminal value. So this is 1086.75, and the last one, second alternative comes to 0.3704. If we multiply, it comes to 812.66. 812.66, right? So this is 812.66, and if we add this cash flow, we shall get the value of the business. These will be same: 124.57, 135, 153.98, 179.50, 160.85, 146.31. So these are the present value of cash flow for alternative 1, considering 4% growth, and here present value of cash flow for alternative 2, considering no growth rate. Here only change. Here only there is a change. So let us add it. This is 1986.96 and this will be 1986. This will be 1712.87. Friends, this is the intrinsic value of P limited. This is the intrinsic value of P limited as the informations given to us. So now we shall consider the purchase consideration with the intrinsic value, and the purchase consideration is quite less than the intrinsic value. So whatever the alternative will come, the Q limited should purchase the P limited. We have found out the intrinsic value, bid value in the step 1, and it was your bid value, or you can say purchase consideration. So in both the cases, whatever may be the alternative, in both the cases the intrinsic value is quite high than the purchase consideration. Therefore, the company, the Q limited, should purchase P limited and it will add to its value. Thank you. We shall continue with more classes on equity valuation.